What?
For the people.
All right, what's your question for the people?
And make sure to hit the like button.
Oh, make sure to hit like and subscribe.
Mm-hmm.
Good job.
Okay, thank you.
You forgot to say like and subscribe.
Well, you say it.
Like and subscribe.
Make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. Smash that subscribe button.
But I don't want them to break their electronics.
That's a great point.
Hey guys, welcome to Real Talk with Fish Addictions. We got a special guest with us today. He's been kind of wanting to join us. His name is Alexander Olson. Say hi, Alex.
Hi.
How old are you, buddy?
7.
7. How was school today?
Good.
That's all you got to say? Normally you talk and talk and talk. Oh, guys, we got a good episode for you guys today. We've been doing a lot of stuff lately.
We have.
Trying to get stuff ready to hit the ice season, get going, get stuff put together, and then I decided to do some random things. I just cannot get away from deer hunting. I love deer hunting. I don't know why, but I've got this fever this year to just continually sit in the woods.
That's not a bad thing.
No.
Until we start getting really good ice, it's not a bad thing.
You know, this is crazy. It's hard to get, I'm excited for ice fishing, but I get excited, I start going, and then today we have 47 degrees.
Yep.
And it's back up. And then at one point today, I looked at the weather for next week. 43, 44, 47, 48, 39 for highs. It's what is going on? Can we get out and just go? I mean, we're starting to do some planning, getting stuff put together. But did the camera turn off? No, it did. It's still flashing.
The screen shuts off.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that it saves battery.
Yeah, we got our little helper making sure cameras keep rolling so all you guys can see our pretty faces.
Except for those of you that are listening on Spotify.
Yeah.
Then you can check us out on Facebook.
But, so, I think we got to make that transition. At some point, I think you told me yesterday, you're you just need to just put it away, put it in the gun safe, and be done with it. But the problem is one of my favorite places in the world is our hunting cabin.
Yep.
Our hunting shack that we turned to an old granary, and that's mouse infested. We've seen little ferrets in there before, weasels, whatever. And now we've spray foamed it. We put a furnace in it. It's still roughing it, but really nice.
It's like glamping.
Mm-hmm.
What is glamping? Do you know what glamping is?
Mm-hmm.
What is it?
I don't know.
Glamping is the driving around in a $100,000 RV and calling it camping.
No, it's far from $100,000.
Yeah. But
we have running water. We do have a shower.
Right. But you're not.
Our sink drains into the shower. Our heater, we had a wood stove up to this year. We did spray foam it this year. We have beds, but the mattresses are from truck sleepers. We literally went to a place. We went to a place that has destroyed trucks.
Yep.
And just
a salvage
took
yard.
The mattresses out of the sleeper cabs. It's almost nightmarish at night because there are stains.
Yeah.
There are things that, we cover it and forget about it. We're at Deer Shack.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like the Deer Shack?
Yes.
Why?
Because you get to go hiking in the woods and see a lot of deer.
Yeah. You're getting to the age to go deer hunting, aren't you?
And you get to find racks. Last year I found one side of a rack.
Yeah, you did. It was a big one too.
Yeah.
And
it was a 4 or 5 pointer.
It's actually right over there. Sitting.
It's,
Thor found it the other day.
It's not just right over there anymore. It's been moved several times.
Okay. Well, it's still in here. We've kept it for
It is still here somewhere.
It's pretty awesome.
It's made its
remember when you found that?
Yeah. We were on the other side.
We were on the south side of the river.
Uh-huh. And we weren't too far from the bridge.
No.
And the skidster got stuck.
Don't tell people that.
It's a good story.
Very stuck. Not just stuck. Very, very, very stuck. And we're not going to talk about it because...
And we were there the whole afternoon.
Yeah. It took us...
And I got in a battle with a gardener snake.
What?
You fought a snake?
A gardener snake.
You fought a snake?
Uh-huh.
Did you win?
Yes.
Nice.
I just whacked him with sticks. That's why you heard me scream.
I hear you scream a lot.
Come on, Dad.
And
You're gonna embarrass him.
after that, I came running down, and then I tripped over something, and then right in front of me was the rack.
Yeah, and then you brought it back. You're like, Dad, look what I found. I'm like, oh, wow. That was a big shed. It's actually called a shed.
I know.
Wow.
It's also kind of funny to hear him say that he's finding racks.
Thor. But anyways.
I'm going to move you forward, bud.
Yeah.
But anyways, we've been busy.
We have.
Trying to get deer hunting off the brain, trying to get ice fishing going. I think this will be the last weekend of deer hunting. So when you guys listen to it, it'll be the weekend before.
As long as you don't go out and buy a bow tag, I think you'll be okay.
What?
Well, there's still actually one more weekend of muzzleloader after this. But I'm kind of committing myself. I'm committing myself to ice fishing. I'm actually really excited to go ice fishing. It's just, I don't like to fall through. And I don't think, obviously I'm safe enough where I don't think I would fall through and with float suits and blah, blah, blah. But
Don't do that.
don't do that, buddy. It's on. So, but we're outfitted. We're ready to rock and roll. And actually, it helps to do things like what we did today. Went to runnings. Well, so let's start back from the beginning. Yesterday.
It was yesterday.
Can it be my turn?
Can it be your turn?
It's almost your turn.
So hold on. I'll have some questions for you.
We've got a good... It's almost your turn.
So, as I'm reading emails yesterday, we've been talking about doing a vlog series. And just like ice fishing, we have not really gotten in the groove because there's a lot of things to do behind the scenes with Fish Addictions to ramp it up, to get going with it. It's not just like one day we just decide to go fishing and what have you. We got the camera guys, we've got the editors, we've got sponsors, we've got things to put together. I mean, there's so much that goes on.
You have to get through the holiday season.
Yeah,
with
and
the family.
most of the time we're at shows right now.
Yep.
So we're kind of ramping up with that. But now this year, obviously with the COVID stuff, it's not happening. So, but yesterday I'm reading emails, and like every year I get emails from, normally it's from a wife about a husband. Like, hey, Mike, love your show. It's one of the few, this is what we get a lot. It's one of the few shows that I can watch with my husband. It's entertaining, blah, blah, blah. Thank you. I appreciate that's actually a big compliment for me. I appreciate the women wanting to watch our show with their husbands. And it forces the husbands to watch our show because it's the one that the wives will watch with us.
That's big. That's big.
No, but so I get a email, and I've had a couple in the last week, and we'll get more going forward. Hopefully we'll answer this question of what would you recommend to get somebody for Christmas that has everything? Well,
brand new snowmobile.
Well, yeah. I mean, so you walked in here because we're in the Fish Addictions office, and obviously you're a part of Fish Addictions, and I looked at you and I said, Thor, let's go make a vlog. And you're like, about what?
About what? What do we?
We're going to go vlog a Christmas shopping list, but not just here's a house, here's auger, here's this. What I wanted to do is do something different. Like, what are the things maybe the guy that you think has everything doesn't have? Mm-hmm. Some simple items.
Some new lures.
Just different things that maybe they don't have. So, but in doing that, I love kids. I have 4 of them of my own. I'm a stickler for getting kids. Like, I'm a sucker, not a stickler. I'm a sucker for getting kids into the industry. Yeah. You come to me with something about kids, I'm going to do everything I can to help you some way, somehow, if I can. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, you know what? Let's get a couple prize packages for kids put together. So we went to Runnings. We filmed our Christmas list shopping, which should come out tomorrow. Or is it yesterday? When this comes out...
It's either yesterday or tomorrow.
So if it's not out, it'll be out tomorrow.
Yep.
If you're listening to this.
It'll be the day before or the day after you're listening to this.
So go to the Fish Addictions Facebook page. Check out the vlog, the Christmas list vlog, about buying for somebody that's hard to buy for, because they have everything. Obviously, ladies, if you're going to go buy something, none of us are going to be upset with a new house or a new auger or a new rod or new electronics.
No.
But those are pretty spendy, pretty pricey, and maybe not. Well, frankly, that's something we already have. So
and a lot of preference goes into houses and augers. Where
that is a very good point, because like when I buy a house or an auger or something like that, I want to research it. It's kind of like your mom buying you clothes,
right?
Like you never wear the clothes your mom buys you.
Well, and
unless you've given her that list.
Well, yeah, and my mom did buy me a flip over fish house one time. But I'm a pop-up guy, so I appreciated it, but I'm not going to use it as much just because I don't fish with a snowmobile and things like that. And at the time I didn't even have a pickup. So I was trying to fit it in the back of my SUV and it barely fit. And
so the moral of that story is, ladies, if you're buying for your husband, your kid, or something like that, watch the vlog.
Yeah.
Go back, watch the vlog. We'll help you out. Some simple items that an everyday ice fisherman will need and may not have. Probably has a house, probably has an auger, probably has electronics.
Yep.
So, but in doing that, in our giving spirit, and Christmas is coming real fast, we decided to put 2 prize packages for kids together. If I remember right, there's a rod, there's ice scoop, there's rod socks, there's line, there's jigs, there's a tackle box, and there'll be 2 separate prizes.
Everything that they need to go fishing with mom or dad.
Yeah.
Or their older siblings.
Yeah, somebody that has the other stuff. So I'm excited about that. That's a lot of fun for us to do, and hopefully it gets 2 kids
out on the ice
and into fishing. Maybe they've never ice fished before.
But
so we decided that go back, watch the vlog, or you can comment here. Should we do a comment here?
Yeah, either here or on the vlog.
Here on the vlog, a picture of your kid fishing with a fish. Doesn't have to be with a fish, just fishing, having fun
on the ice,
sleeping in mom's lap, sleeping in the corner of the ice house, sleeping in the front of the boat. Doesn't have to be ice.
My brother, who almost never fishes, he'll come out in the boat every once in a while. We took him sturgeon fishing a few years ago. I think we were on the water for 6 hours. He slept for 5 of those hours. And he caught all 6 sturgeon.
Oh boy.
That weekend.
That's tough.
Sleeping with a rod in his hand. Yeah. At least he was deliriously humble and passed the rod off. So the rest of us got to, catch sturgeon also.
Alex, you look bored over there, buddy.
Yeah.
What do you want for Christmas? What's on your Christmas list?
Sit up by the microphone. What do you want for Christmas, man? Since we're talking Christmas and it's right around the corner.
What are you asking Santa for?
Hey, Al, don't play with that. Here's a better question. Do you want to go ice fishing this year?
Yes.
Yes? What kind of fish do you want to catch?
Walleyes.
Crappies? Bluegills?
Walleye.
You're a walleye snob, huh?
What kind of auger do you want to use? You want to use a hand auger?
Yeah.
What? That's probably good for you. You've got lots of energy. We get you that hand auger and just say, Al, drill a line of holes going this way. And you know what's funny about you?
What?
You'll do it. We actually got the kids the youth ice suits this year because we plan on getting them on the ice maybe a little more. COVID 2020 going into 2021. I mean, these guys have been fishing Way more than they ever have. I know in March, April, May, we went fishing almost every day, didn't we?
Yep.
Yeah. Did you catch any?
Nope.
No.
What?
I got the biggest one of the day.
Yeah, he did. One day we went out, he caught the biggest fish of the day. And you caught one spring fishing in the walleyes when Dad was helping you.
What?
But we went every day. What? Short-term memory loss?
No, when was it?
When we were at the river. Where the waterfall was? Where the campground thing was? Remember we had to drive back? You guys ran up that big hill?
But there's no waterfall.
Well, it's kind of a waterfall. It's like a rapids.
What?
In the river where it goes over the rocks. It's like a rapids there. I don't want to give the spot away. It's a secret. Do you remember though?
Is that our campground?
No, it's not at our campground. Remember you guys climbed that really big hill, all the kids did?
Oh, that place.
Yeah, you caught one there too. You caught a walleye there.
Yeah.
And
I
you got
got a
snagged. And you got snagged a
Snagged
lot.
in the weeds a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
Been there. Been there.
That's where I learned to cast.
Yeah, that's what we really worked on was casting, didn't we?
One time my jig broke, but we found it.
Mm-hmm.
And I tied it and I went down to the waterfall. And I just went it through the cracks to see if I could catch.
And you lost it again.
No. I thought you were going to ask me some questions.
What kind of questions do you want us to ask? You didn't want to tell us what you wanted for Christmas?
I was thinking.
Well, you keep thinking.
You keep thinking. We're going to answer some other questions.
So anyways, guys, obviously we like to get kids involved.
Oh,
And
I found it.
Oh, okay.
A mini ice fishing house.
A mini ice fishing house that just you can fish in?
Mm-hmm.
I got you covered.
We got you.
Did you sell that one?
No. The wide one. I kept it for you. It's out there in the shop.
That little one that's like this wide?
Yeah.
Yeah. What happens when you catch a fish bigger than that, though?
You can't catch a fish bigger.
What?
You got a dream.
Yeah.
And a rod.
You already have rods.
A bigger rod.
A bigger rod.
I have those little tiny rods.
Well,
Those are
that's
for
ice
ice
fishing, man. Do you never watch Fish Addictions TV?
No.
What?
I've watched your, what was it called again?
Fish Addictions TV.
No, like this.
Podcast.
Yes, podcasts before.
You've watched the podcast, but you've never watched Fish Addictions TV.
I've watched.
You're supposed to be one of my biggest fans. I think you're lying. What's your favorite episode of Fish Addictions TV?
The second one.
That's a good one.
The one where you were in?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course. The one you're in. Don't kick, buddy. So, anyways, back on track. Al's wanted to be on this show so bad. People are going to love you, Al. He just got a haircut yesterday.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well-
Thought he was going to go with a mohawk to school today, but he didn't.
And I want a gun.
Yeah, well, you're not quite old enough for a gun yet, but we'll work on that. So,
We'll talk your mom into it.
Okay.
It might take us a couple years to talk her into it, though.
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see if we can get mom convinced.
That's a long-term Christmas request.
Yep.
All right. He's pre-planning.
Yeah. He'll probably try to steal the kids' package that we have to give away.
We've got it hidden from him, though.
Yeah.
It's on the top shelf. You can't reach.
Where?
We aren't going to tell you. Well, anyways, you said there's a few questions out there that guys have from previous podcasts. And guys, if you like this podcast, please subscribe. We're going to be doing this as much as we can, hopefully every week.
Every week.
That's the goal. Every week.
We're going to do it every week.
We're going to do it every week.
Sometimes it might have to just be me.
Thor says we're doing it every week.
Every week. We're going to get a podcast in.
We're starting to get people lined up to get on with
Yep.
us. We should have plenty of guests coming. We just kind of wanted to kind of feel our way through the first few.
Yeah.
And this is what it's going to be. If you guys have caught the episodes beforehand.
I have one question.
What?
For the people.
All right, what's your question for the people?
And make sure to hit the like button.
Oh, so make sure to hit like and subscribe.
Mm-hmm.
Good job.
Okay. Thank you.
You forgot to say like and subscribe.
Well, you say it.
Like and subscribe.
Make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. Smash that subscribe button.
But I don't want them to break their electronics.
It's a great point. It's a great point, folks. Don't break your computers. All right. So after the first podcast, Sam Pogel had a question after the first podcast, wondering how you do your deer land management with food plots or trail cutting, fences.
Fences don't seem to work very well, but so I would call it QDM, quality deer management, is kind of something I roughly base off what I do.
Yep.
But I think the biggest thing, and you read, I've read countless articles, that kind of stuff, and I don't follow anything to a T. But where I have my land, we have a river running through it. We have bedding areas. We have everything the deer want. So it's more, for me, I think it's been being selective. Where I hunt, it's one giant food plot. There's corn, there's sugar beets, there's beans, there's wheat, sunflowers. We have a little bit of everything that the deer like. So as far as them staying on our property, that's not usually the issue. The issue is making sure that the deer that are on our property are getting to that age of maturity. There's a lot of people that will roll their eyes at big buck hunters. Well, I'm sorry. We put a lot of effort into this. This isn't going out and just shooting a big buck, because this doesn't happen every year. It just doesn't. It's been quite a few years, not quite a few years. I've shot some nice deer,
right? But
not to the quality that we're getting now, and the quality and quantity. And it's letting those 2.5, 3.5-year-old deer walk, which is pretty tough when you're living and hunting in an area where in Minnesota you get buck tags automatically, and some are doe draws. Our zone has been a doe draw for a lot of years, so if you wanted a deer in the freezer, it needed to be a buck. And a doe draw, you didn't get a doe tag. That wasn't an option. So it took a lot of years sitting there and eating tag soup, and now it's starting to pay off. We're having several bucks on our properties that are mature and nice. So I think, for the most part, it's definitely about just being choosy and a little picky. Set a standard for yourself and let those deer walk away if they're not to that standard. It is so tough, and it's fleeting passes, and it's honestly, it's the ones where you take a shot that you don't know for 100% sure it's a buck you want to shoot or not. And now, if I'm not 100% sure that's the buck I want to shoot, I don't pull the trigger. Mm-hmm. I have to get a good look at that deer, because it's happened many times over the year where you pull the trigger and you think that deer is bigger than it was, because you didn't get a good look at it. You got to look at it. You saw a tall rack, and then it's not even outside its ears, but it's really tall.
Hits the ground and shrinks a lot.
Yeah, and then you walk up to it and you're like, oh, that would have been a giant next year, right? So you're looking at, if you shoot a deer that's like, man, next year that would have been a stud. I think that's the biggest key. It's just being selective harvest. And I don't have any problem with anybody that's hunting their land and wants to go out and shoot everything they see. That's their own deal. On the property that I manage, this is how we go. Mm-hmm. This is how we go about it. Now, that being said, my kids both shot deer this year. They weren't deer I would have pulled the trigger on, but great first deer. Really great first deer. And that's kind of the rule. Their first buck, shoot whatever you want, and they make the decision whether they pull the trigger or not. And both of my kids made that decision on great deer for first deer, and I couldn't be more proud. And yeah, my biggest thing is do what you feel the deer need in your area. You know your land better than anybody. What are the deer? What maybe would bring more deer in? I felt like I was lacking a little bit of bedding area, so I fell some trees, random trees all over the property. I think it helps. I think there's more quantity of deer. I've planted some food plots in the area, kind of keeps them happy and in the woods and maybe not roaming to other places a little bit. But I'm trying to do things to just keep them centralized. I don't want them to have to go anywhere for anything. So that's my biggest thing. But be selective.
Yeah. And then this one is from Dan. It's 7 months old, but I do think it's a good question, especially coming into the ice fishing season. We're gonna change his question a little bit. So when you're going out walleye fishing in the winter, can you describe what types of rods and reels, lines, and baits that you're using when you're going out to target walleyes, whether you're using live bait, dead sticking?
So walleye fishing in general, there's so many different bodies of water, and that's the first thing I look at is where are we going? What depths are we going to be fishing at? What are the size of fish that we're realistically targeting, right? I mean, I'm not going out to every body of water thinking there's a possibility I'm going to catch a 30 plus inch walleye or 25 plus inch walleyes consistently. If I'm going to Lake Winnipeg, I really don't bring any live bait. It's rattle baits, it's medium to medium heavy rods and 1,000 reels, and heavy. Well, I personally like braid, and then I put like a 2-foot mono or a fluorocarbon leader on there with a barrel swivel, so I'm not tangling up. And so, there's so many different options for it. Like if I'm going to Lake of the Woods, I'm using a medium 32 inch rod most of the time, and using a lot of minnow heads or setting up like snare rods and that kind of stuff. It just makes it, to utilize 2 rods. Remember, in the wintertime, we can utilize 2 rods. And
2 to 4.
Depending on where you're at. We'll just take Minnesota for an instance. In the summer, it's 1 rod. In the winter, we get to utilize 2 rods. Why not utilize a second rod with a snare rod or a bobber rod? And then you have your jigging rod. And the nice thing about a snare rod is you can set it outside away from you instead of a bobber right next to you. And now they do have bobbers now that like stand up when they go down. So, but those are more for like hard house type situations. But
I saw that some states and provinces will let you run up to like 8 lines per guy in the winter.
The only way to really do that is if you have like tip ups or
that kind of stuff. Even with tip ups, can you imagine you and your 4 buddies go out tip up fishing and you've got 32 tip ups out?
It's happened.
There's so many tip ups.
You're running constantly if you're in a good bite.
Yeah.
And when you're tip up fishing, the more the merrier, because you're out, you've got them in a certain area from where you're at. Flag goes up, bam, you're there. It's impossible to run that many rods. Obviously in a boat, guys are running planer boards, and I've seen guys run 30 planer boards before in one boat. And that's just unbelievable. Rod trees and rods everywhere. I wouldn't even start to. When I'm running 8 in my boat, I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
There's guys that are really, really good at it. I'm not that good at it. I can run 8 just fine. You get more than 8, and it's like, what's going on here? Like, let me just touch the rods because I know how to go through them. But back to that question, if the first thing you should be asking is where you're going. The second thing you should be asking yourself is what size of fish are you targeting? Are they 16 to 20 inches? But I think if you want a good overall rig, a medium fast action rod with, I like braid if I'm in a house, but if I'm outside, I run fluoro. So I'll just say fluoro because that's multi-purpose. 10 pound is what I run on the ice if I'm fishing walleyes. I always like to run a swivel, whether I'm using braid or mono, just to take that twist and stuff. Because when you're ice fishing, you're jigging pretty vertically and pretty rapidly, and there's a lot of things going on down there. So that's what I would run. But I'd always have that, a little bit longer medium rod with a bobber or a snare rod out there rolling as well.
When you're jigging in the summertime, do you use a swivel to your leader?
Depends what we're jigging. If I'm jigging in current, or if I'm vertical jigging wraps, and that kind of stuff, I will use a swivel just because of all the twisting up that gets done. And in the current, your jig will, twist around on you a little bit if you're fishing a river or something like that. Some guys don't. Some guys just use river cutters, that kind of stuff. I personally like a swivel.
Yeah.
And just, for me, it works. And really, when guys ask me this kind of stuff, like, I'll tell you what I have, but what I do is not necessarily the only way to do it. Fishing is about how to accommodate your own needs,
right?
And depending on what you're fishing, we all have our own needs. I like a heavier rod when I'm fishing, not heavy, but I'll use a medium light sometimes fishing crappies. Lots of guys will use ultralights fishing crappies. Whatever works for you, whatever you see the bite, feel the bite, whatever works best for you.
I like the lighter rods.
Yeah, a lot of guys do, and I'm just a heavier guy.
I can't feel bites. I like to sight fish.
Okay, well, there's nothing.
I also use bright yellow braid in the summertime.
Yeah,
sometimes pink too.
I've actually transitioned to high vis line more for casting and stuff like that, because as you cast out and you're retrieving, you could see that bite in the line. Some of those bites that I know I was missing, I'm getting because of the high vis.
Yeah, and it just makes it a little easier because you can get another sense involved where you don't have to necessarily feel or whatever. You can use more than one sense.
Yeah,
to detect fish.
Right. Yeah, it's such a loaded question because my personal opinion is use what works best for you, because what works best for me may not work best for you.
Right.
But if I had to hand somebody a setup to go walleye fishing, that if you catch a 30-inch walleye, it'll work. If you catch a 16-inch walleye or a 13-inch walleye, it'll work. For me, it would be a 32-inch-ish, somewhere in there, medium rod with 8 to 10 pound fluorocarbon and, just a spinning reel.
And then probably general. A spoon with a minnow head.
Yeah. I'm a spoon minnow head guy. I do like jig wrapping and rattle baits and stuff like that. I really do. But I always seem to start with that. And
the big ripping bait bite, that's not an always. The fish have to be in the right kind of mood for that.
I found that you can get the fish in the right mood with those ripping baits because there's so many cadences you can do. And especially now with like live scope and that kind of stuff, because you are seeing exactly when they came out with the scrolling screen, like I was like, okay, now I can see the reaction, how this fish reacted over the last 5 seconds. Mm-hmm. Now with live scope or pan optics, you can see exactly how that fish is reacting from 40 feet away. Mm-hmm. Is it coming at you faster? Is it sitting there? And all of a sudden I'll change my cadence. All of a sudden that fish will come. And so we're learning that there's so many cadences. It's just like vertical jigging. Guys are like, well, it's just vertical jigging. No, it's not.
Right.
There's 100 different ways to jig that. And when I'm vertical jigging through the ice, I'm not constantly doing the same thing over and over and over again. If there's a fish that shows up and it rejects me, I'm changing something. Mm-hmm. Something is changing. And then when a fish shows up, I'm going to do that. If it's not responding, I'm changing, or you're constantly changing. Mm-hmm. And you're not changing your lure. You're not changing your bait. If you're using a live bait or not, you're changing your cadence, because all it's going to take is one thing for that fish to be like, whoop, done, grab it, and many, many, many times the fish will come back 2-3 times and you'll use a different cadence. And I found when I find a cadence that works, it normally works to the next one and the next one and the next one as well. So,
because the fish just kind of stay in that mood.
I think
you figure out the mood and then you develop the pattern, as they would say.
I'm not a guy that changes my baits constantly. I'm a guy that changes what I'm doing constantly. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if I got into that because I really hate changing lures. Like, I put that on because I'm confident with it. And I feel like if you put something on your rod that you're confident in, you're going to fish it better. Mm-hmm. Right? Absolutely. So if I'm just constantly changing, then I'm never really figuring something out. There's guys around me fishing. If you're fishing 30 feet away from me and you're catching a bunch of fish, then I'm going to be like, Thor, what are you doing? And then I'm going to learn something from it.
Well, I'm probably going to be taking a nap in the snow.
Yeah,
letting the wind jig.
If you're catching a bunch of fish, I'm gonna be like, Thor, what are you doing? And then not only that, but like when we're out fishing with all our friends, like there's groups of guys I've been with. They're like, well, I don't know what I'm catching fish. Well, it's like no, in our group, it's like I'm doing this. This is the color I'm using. This is how I'm hooking it. Like we all want to be successful,
right?
And it's a lot more fun when we're all successful. So that's like number one, I think.
So speaking of not liking to change out lures frequently, how often do you re-spool your rods and reels in the summertime?
In the summertime?
Yeah.
Every tournament.
Every tournament? Okay.
Depending if how much I used them on the last. So like my trolling reels, that kind of stuff, they get spun up and spool, so, and then not only that, but when you start spooling line off, you start doing that kind of stuff, the counters get off, because we're spooling these reels and then I'm putting 100 feet out to make sure that my counter is where it needs to be. And if it's not, you got to start over because if you're putting one out at 100 feet, that one might be exactly 100. The next one might be 90. So pretty much every time, depending on use. If the rods that I used heavily before, I'll change out.
I watched an interview last night with Seth Feider and John Cox, both guys that fish bass professionally. And John Cox he'll change his line out almost every other day. During tournaments.
Nope.
And he said that. He said, well, I might have a problem. And Fighter said that he has braid that's 3 years old on some of his reels right now, and he's not planning on taking it off until the Classic next spring.
Yeah, but I think on your casting rods and braid in general, like it doesn't twist up on you nearly like fluoro or mono will. So like I'll probably, and my high vis stuff, like in the sun and the amount of use that we put it
starts
through,
getting bleached.
It starts getting bleached out. Anal retentiveness kicks in, and I got to switch it out.
Yeah.
Because I've been so trying to get used to seeing that bite on casting. Like that's one of the things I'm working on open water casting is like not just feeling the bite, but seeing the bite when that line goes slack and it twitches. You got that next. It's got to be setting the hook. So I mean, it varies. Ice fishing, I pretty much spool up and don't unspool. I don't re-spool at all during the season,
right?
Unless I'm going from like panfish rods where I've really clear lake, I'll do a 2-pound test, and if I'm going to something else where I think I can get away with 3, I'll go to 3 because I hate when you're inevitably when you're fishing panfish, you're going to catch the pike. I'd rather land the pike than lose the pike. And it's amazing what 3-pound line does versus 2-pound line. And
it's not just losing the pike. You also you almost always lose the jig too.
And it's usually the jig you want to have on.
Mm-hmm. And you only have one of them. Doesn't matter how many of them you buy, you only ever have one of them the day it's working.
Right. So, long answer. But yeah. No, I'll re-spool. Trolling rods for sure. Mm-hmm. I re-spool constantly. Casting rods with braid on it, not that often. Casting rods with... Drake Hurd has actually got me into using 6-pound test for casting, and I like it, but I literally have to change my line all the time. And I hate re-spooling.
I run 8 to 10 on all my spinning rods in the summer.
Braid or mono or what?
Braid. Yeah.
See, but I'm running 6-pound mono. And it's just one of those things with jig wraps. If you have never jig wrapped vertically or casting with mono, try it, because I don't care who you are. You can say you use braid and you don't lose fish. You're filling me full of crap. I have lost so many fish on braid jig wraps
even with a mono leader.
Yeah, because basically what happens is when you hook into that fish, it stretches. And it has that much more forgiveness. If that fish is swimming towards you or does something you're not ready for, it's still tight because it's got all that stretch in there, so it keeps itself tight. Man, it feels like you're jigging a rubber band, and it takes a lot to get used to. So just try it. Just stick with it and try it.
I tried switching some of my jerkbait rods to straight fluorocarbon this year, and the first time that I casted, I don't know that I actually moved my jerkbait because I just kept stretching it and stretching it and stretching it. I don't know if my jerkbait ever moved except for when I was reeling. I think it just took all that stretch and just the jerkbait just sat in place. I was like, they say you're supposed to use it when you throw in jerkbaits. You're supposed to use fluorocarbon.
Well, it's imagine throwing a heavy, jig wrap, like you're doing it, and when you have braid on, you can feel it. It does its thing, it's swimming along. It's doing when you ripping back with mono on, it's like, and then you kind of feel it go whoop. It's like it's a delayed reaction type thing.
Yeah, and it's a little weird, but I don't throw jerkbaits enough to have gotten used to it.
I've never thrown a jerkbait.
I throw them for like a week and a half a year.
You look like you got something to say, Al.
No?
Do you want to go and play with the kid?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
Well, that's a question that we get a lot, is the amount people tie line. I mean, I do check my line quite frequently, like when I'm letting line out, looking for bad spots. If I find a bad spot, I'm going to cut it and redo it. But if there's enough line on there to keep fishing, honestly, I'd probably keep running it ice fishing scenarios. But I think that's one thing, especially like lake trout fishing, pike fishing, big walleye fishing, is people probably don't check their lines enough, because when the fish will swim underneath a hole, the line will dig into the ice. Mm-hmm. It'll actually dig, and you can fray up pretty fast. Yeah. So I've lost plenty of big fish. Not checking my line.
I have a very specific memory. I was out fishing and I was throwing an X-Wrap. And I was reeling it in, and I saw a big pike. And I wanted to catch the big pike. So I cast it. I went to cast back out immediately. And as I did, I saw a spot on my line that was frayed. And I thought to myself, oh, I should probably retie that. I'll do it after this cast. 2 cranks in.
Caught big pike.
Pike eats it. Get it to the boat. Sees the net. Runs away. Snaps the line. Mm-hmm. Right then and there. Jerkbait gone. 40-inch pike gone. Done. And ever since then, if I see a spot and I think, I should probably retie it, I retie it.
Very anal.
It doesn't take many
especially
lost
in a tournament,
fish.
Especially in a tournament situation.
Yep.
But yeah, we did get some questions about a few things that we would recommend for early ice as well. Now, we can go through early ice tips. We did that in one of the other videos.
For safety, yep.
But I think the one thing that I would have, obviously all your safety equipment, but spikes. Early, especially in a season like this year, there's no snow on the ice.
Talking ice cleats.
Ice cleats. There's many good companies out there. They all work great. Do not get the ones with the little springs on the bottom. I personally don't like those. But
I've even done the put screws in my boots,
which works just fine.
Yeah.
Get yourself some kind of traction, because I personally have been knocked out on the ice. We were actually up at Lake Winnipeg, and it had gotten warm, and it was just pretty much bare ice with a few snow drifts here and there. And I forgot my spikes, and we were up there filming, and I was with my brother and a few other guys, and I took a fall on the ice and knocked myself straight out. It's the only time that was the moment I was like, my brother loves me, because he came running from the story I heard. Because I don't remember anything.
Yep.
Like, Aaron, our camera guy, sees it happen. My brother sees it happen. Jim Richter sees it happen. Anthony Kleinwalker was there. And I fall and just nail my head, and I am out cold. Like, they're over there slapping my face and everything. So It could be dangerous. I'm sure there's been a lot of people that have gotten hurt, broke bones, that kind of stuff, because of not wearing spikes. So I'm not going to have a long answer on this one. I would say my most important part of it, float suit, picks, buddy,
cleats. Oh, spud bar.
Spud bar. definitely have all that stuff. No float suit, life jacket, but cleats are something that sticks in my head.
And they're very easily forgotten.
Yeah, very easily forgotten.
You know,
and I still forget them. And when I forget them, I will go to a store and buy another pair.
Right.
I guarantee. Cleats are like headlamps for me. I have
so many headlamps.
Bad problem with headlamps.
There's 37 in this office.
Yeah, you never know when you need a headlamp.
We should do it. I'm going to do a giveaway with that. I'm going to find a box and I'm going to put all of your headlamps in it. And whoever guesses the closest is going to get
how many headlamps?
Yeah. They might even get the box of headlamps.
Yeah, but you need a headlamp for every situation. If you're tracking deer, if you're fishing at night.
But they're all in the office.
But if you go to my pickups too, then they're in there too. And what if I see them in my office and I'll remember to throw them in my bag?
Well, no, you see them in the office, and then you remember 2 hours later, like, oh, that's right, I needed a headlamp, and then you buy another one.
Well, where are they at, Thor?
There's 4 in that drawer. There's at least 3 on the couch, and there's a couple in here now.
So, I have a headlamp problem. First part of it. I admit it. I like headlamps. I have a headlamp fetish. Not really a fetish.
I don't know if you should call it a fetish.
No, it's not a fetish. But I have an obsession with headlamps.
Okay.
You know? You have some that are like 200 lumens, some that are 400 lumens, some that are like spotlights on your head.
Yeah. A good headlamp is very important.
Yeah.
For almost everything.
But the point is cleats are very important.
Bring ice cleats.
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm starting to get excited about ice fishing.
We're getting
more
close.
than I was.
You got about 3 days of deer hunting.
Like 20 minutes ago, I was like, yeah, we're going to go ice fishing. And I'm up and down. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah. And now I'm kind of climbing on it. I'm thinking about crappies through the ice, which is my favorite thing to fish through the ice. I love lake trout, but lake trout are not readily available. So, like, going on a lake trout trip, it's like, yeah, we're going lake trout fishing. Big pike are a lot of fun, which we need to do another big pike episode. We did one last year up in Canada, but there's a lot of big pike places like locally within driving distance. We're going to be stuck here. Like we all know, Canada is closed. Hopefully it opens. But as of right now, Canada is closed.
Yeah.
But I think you can go to Canada, but you have to like quarantine for 14 days, take a test, do whatever, and then you can go up there.
I don't know if you can just go. I think you have to have a reason. I don't know for sure, but
and correct us if we're wrong. Thor thinks you can't just go. I think if you quarantine for 14 days, it's like 14 days, take a test, bring it all with you. Boom, here it is. You can get across. Or if you're an essential worker.
Right.
I would hope if you own like a resort and that kind of stuff that you'd be an essential worker.
Well, yeah. I mean, it depends on who it's essential for.
Right.
You know, like, unfortunately, our friends in the Angle, I don't know if Manitoba would consider their resorts that are in Minnesota to be essential.
No, speaking of that, they are doing an ice road all the way from Springsteel, I think, all the way up to the Northwest Angle this year.
Yeah.
And that's going to be cool. You know, I actually own a cabin on Flag Island Resort, which gets rented out, or on Flag Island. It gets rented out through Flag Island Resort. If you guys are going up to Flag Island, stay in Wood Duck. That's my cabin.
Stay in Wood Duck. It's Mike's. It's a very nice cabin.
I have a map up there, and then like people write notes on it and stuff. So write me a note if you stay in my cabin. Hopefully it's still up there. I haven't been up there for a while, obviously, for obvious reasons. But it's one of the most beautiful places you'll ever go to.
It is really cool up there.
The crappie fishing, there are crappies on the U.S. side. They're a little tougher to find. Mm-hmm. But we should do an episode on that this year. That would be fun.
And the eel pout spawn.
See, I don't know much about the eel pout spawn up there. I know the spot that they say they spawn at. I also know that spot is very dangerous.
It's sketchy.
At best.
I mean, I've driven my vehicle. I mean, it's sketchy enough that I don't want to recommend it to people, but like, I've driven my SUV across it.
No comment.
But that would, I mean, from what it sounds like, you know, I've never timed the bite right.
No, but in all reality, like, we're talking about this right now, and I'm just thinking in my head, you know, like, you can't go to Canada. So the closest thing you can get to Canada is going up to the northwest angle. Now there's going to be a road going to these resorts.
Yep.
So you got a place to stay. I know for a fact that the resorts are going to be feeding people. You're not going to be able to go in and eat, but they'll deliver to your cabin or takeout, all that good stuff.
Just like being in town.
Yeah, just like anything else. And here's the thing. With kids not being in school, with parents working from home, it is going to be very, very, very busy on Mille Lacs, Lake of the Woods, Red Lake. So if you want to go to the Lake of the Woods and you want to put a little effort into it, go to the Northwest Angle.
Yeah.
Go visit Flag Island Resort. They've got really good food. Ask for walleye fritters. For sure.
I don't know if this is still happening, but smoked ribs on Saturdays.
Ooh, Chuck makes some crazy good smoked ribs.
Yep.
Chuck is I think it's his dad's recipe or something like that.
It is. So the winter that I worked there, his dad drove up every other Friday with the smoked ribs because he wouldn't tell him the recipe.
I wonder if that's still going on.
I believe that they now are making them right at the resorts. I don't know if his dad has moved up there to do it or gave him the recipe, but there was...
So moral of the story is go eat ribs at Flag Island Resort if they still do that. Chuck and Andrea, comment on this. We'll tag them in this.
We'll tag them in it.
We'll tag Flag Island Resort in this. There's a road. They're literally plowing.
There is going to be a road.
The road
is not there yet.
No, it's not there yet. Don't go. But there is going to be a road all the way. And we'll find something to post with this for information on this road. Because guys, think about it. Where else can you go right now that's that close to Canada? I mean, there's awesome destinations, but they're going to be crazy busy. If you want to get away from it and have awesome fishing, because Northwest Angle, you can get into crappies on the Minnesota side. That's not what you should go up there and target. Right. But there's giant pike, there's burbot, there's walleyes. In fact, you catch a lot more walleyes up in that area on the Minnesota side than you do saugers. Like, you go down to the south end of the lake, there's a ton of saugers. You go up to the north end of the lake, there's a lot more walleyes and better quality fish for the most part. Plus, you're going to be able to drive your vehicle all the way out there. Now, from what I understand, they are not allowing wheelhouses out there because you actually have to go across the lake. Sounds like you're going to go up onto a snowmobile trail, through the woods, and then back down onto the lake. Basically, they're going to cut a few miles of the lake off.
You're going to have to go through Garden and...
No, they're going to cut it like right up the line. So you'll go across the lake, up onto land. And that's what it sounds like it's going to be. But it's going to be a fairly user-friendly trail. Get in your vehicle. You go up there. Patronize the resorts that are up there. Flag Island has great food. I'm assuming they're going to have their bombers and their ice houses and all that stuff running. Sounds that way. We actually had a meeting with them the other day, and they're excited to get people up there. Now, that being said, that road is going to be a bear to maintain. Yeah. I'm guessing it's going to be a lot of road, but if anybody can get it done, those guys up there are gung-ho to get it done.
Well, because they run one from the Angle to Kenora during most years.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a
little different. It's a different beast going from the south to the north than it is from the northern Minnesota through the islands. You have windbreaks, all that kind of stuff. But
they do have it figured out how to do.
But here's my thing: plan your trip up there because you will not be disappointed. You get up there and it's like it's so beautiful. There are islands and wolves running around on the ice and just so much going on up there. And it'll be worth the 20-mile car ride across the ice.
Yeah.
And I guarantee they're going to have that road like a highway.
Oh, yeah. Do you think we can... I think I got an episode idea.
Uh-oh.
So Jay Siemens has joined the Eskimo team this year. Ion team. Do you think we can talk Jay Siemens into coming out and we'll fish right across the border from each other?
Have a border battle?
Yeah.
It'd be fun.
Just do a straight up border battle. Like, hey, you can go 300 yards either
direction from this point.
Yeah. And for fish to count, it has to be weighed or something right there at the point.
Well, Thor, you hook that up. You get it done.
I'm going to have to.
That'd be a lot of fun.
It'd be so cool.
It would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, something like that.
But I want to not be done with this Flag Island thing yet, because I just feel like it's an opportunity. I feel really strongly about the situation we're put in, that like that is the opportunity. The other thing that people don't really realize about up there is the vast amount of snowmobile trails that's up there, and well groomed. Like the rider, what the heck is the Riders Club that's up there? It's I
think there's a few of them.
There's one that's like known all over the place, and those guys take such good care of that. Of that. Here's another thing about up there. What a lot of people don't understand is there's a trail system that gets you all the way there.
Yeah.
Over the last 5 years, we have concentrated greatly on running and gunning, using our snowmobiles, pulling our houses, all that kind of stuff. There's groomed trails the whole way. You can get on at Baudette and take a groomed trail all the way to Flag Island Resort. Mm-hmm. And then have all your amenities that you would need right there. They've got bait, they've got line and hooks and places to stay and food. You don't have to pack big coolers. Jump on your sleds and take a trip.
Yeah, I knew guys that would launch from Baudette and instead of taking the road to get up there, because they could get there faster on their snowmobiles.
Yeah, it's definitely fast. It's not bad. And it's a groomed trail the whole way.
Yeah,
the whole way. Like, I don't think a lot of people know that. And when you're planning your fishing trip this year, like, this is what I find fun, is doing the things that you wouldn't normally do, but really doesn't take that much more effort. You hook all your sleds up, bring your fishing gear, go straight up there, unload in your cabin, go out fishing. You got some of the best fishing in the state of Minnesota right in your back door.
And we'll link some of these resources in the description. Some of the information here about planning snowmobile trips, the snowmobile trail system around Lake of the Woods County, because I think it's a county run.
And if you guys have any questions, mm-hmm. I'm very familiar with the lake and everything going on up there. So ask. We'll answer it in the next podcast, or we'll get back to you. But I'm just always trying to think outside the box of like what's going to happen and where this season's going to go. And I've been asked many times personally, like, what are you going to do that you can't go to Canada? Well, we're going to find other cool trips. We're going to do other cool things, probably things that we've overlooked because we've had these all awesome opportunities, but now we're going to do things that we've probably overlooked over the last few years and probably create new things for everybody to do.
Right. Well, and one important thing I think for people to look at this year when they're planning trips is local chambers of tourism.
Oh, yeah.
We work with Devil's Lake Tourism and a few other tourism boards, and they are very helpful about planning trips to those areas. A lot of them will have fishing reports for you. They'll have you should stay.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about going on a trip, especially somewhere you've maybe never been before,
it's daunting.
But you talk about Devil's Lake Tourism, Otter Tail, Detroit Lakes, Lake of the Woods. All these places have bureaus or places set up to help you have the resources to make sure that you have a good time.
Because
if you have a question, call them. Eric Osberg in the Otter Tail area. The guy is on the water all the time in the outdoors. If he does, he'll know the answer to your question, and if he doesn't know it, he will find it out and get back to you. Because these places, that's like what they live and breathe.
Yeah.
You go, there's little pothole lakes, there's Otter Tail Lake, there's snowmobile trails, there's more lakes than you could shake a stick at out there with fish in them.
Yeah.
And the amenities are all there. Mm-hmm. Everything's there.
Yeah. They'll get you in touch with resorts, with guides, with...
That's what I do when I'm planning a trip for Fish Addictions. It's like, I learned very early on. When Fish Addictions first started, I used to just say, let's go hit this lake. And then we just go there and we figure it out. Well, now it's like, hey, what would you guys like to see if we come that way? I'm not asking for much of anything. I just point us in the direction. Give us some of the great amenities. Let me know where I can stay, where I can eat. I'm going snowmobiling too. Is there trails to this lake? I mean, any question you can come up with, those guys will have an answer.
Or they'll have access to the person that does have the answer.
Exactly.
And they all want
tip of the day.
Call
when you're going somewhere. Look those resources up because they're there for a reason.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? I think that's a good way to wrap it up because we do have trip planning we need to do. So we need to start working on some of that.
I'm planning what bed I'm sleeping at the deer shack right now in my head. One more weekend of deer hunting, Thor. Leave it alone.
All right. Fine. One more weekend of deer hunting.
And please, guys, if you have any questions, we are sitting here. We're talking to each other. We're having a conversation. Give us some questions that you have. Hopefully we can help and answer for you guys. This is new to us.
It is new to us.
We're going to keep changing this format. If you like the format the way it is, let us know.
Yeah.
If you hate it, let us know.
And I think
we're just having a good time.
This episode will be on Spotify. It will be able to be found on Spotify.
And we're going to get it a few other places as the time goes on.
Yep.
But this has been fun, actually. How long have we been going?
We've been going for, it'll be about an hour when we get it all edited up. And
I don't even think we hit half the things we were going to hit.
No.
That's all right.
It's fine.
Sam Pogel, if you ever want to go deer hunting, hit me up. I know you deer hunt. I know Sam. He's a great guy.
Oh.
He's part of the Tintus Outdoors guys.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I like Sam a lot. Great guy. Well, thank you guys for listening to Real Talk with Fish Addictions TV. This is episode 3. 3?
3.
We've already done 3.
Yep.
We're feeling our way through it. So if you like it, smash that subscribe button. I had to do it. Alex told me I had to do it.
I know, but you forgot. It's make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.
Okay. Should I try again?
Yeah.
No, don't.
So smash that subscribe button.
Yeah.
Like and comment.
All right, we're going to try it again. If you like The Real Talk with Fish Addictions TV, smash that subscribe button, like, comment, and subscribe for more videos coming your way.